Hello, Malcolm here, and I thought I'd give you another pre-conference report for the International Churches of Christ Teaching Conference here in Los Angeles. And I say here because I have arrived. I've just arrived at my Airbnb accommodation. I've been welcomed by my host, Connie, settling into the room, and I'm looking forward to a nice long sleep after a really long journey from London Heathrow to Chicago and then on to Orange County. And looking forward to tomorrow, where I'll see some old friends, Steve Staten, Larry Clipp, and then the conference proper begins on Thursday. Although in a way, the conference for me has already begun, and I'll tell you why. So at Heathrow, I noticed an older gentleman with a stick and a limp. I have to be, mind you, a little bit careful these days about who I call an older gentleman because, well, I am getting older myself. Anyway, he definitely was older than me. I noticed him, and then when I went to sit down on the plane, I was sitting next to him, and we struck up a conversation. We had a lovely chat. It turns out he is a retired Anglican priest. And not only that, but he spent many years of his priesthood in Kent, where I grew up, and in Folkestone, not far from where I lived, and he knows all the places I know, and I expect some of the people as well. We actually do know some people we both know. And it was delightful catching up with him and chatting about his life as a priest and what attracted him to that and some of the challenges with that, some of the different roles he's played. And of course, my own father's an Anglican priest, so we talked about that somewhat. And he's very, very interested in music, which is my background. We had a lovely conversation. And I told him about the purpose of my visit to this conference. And I asked him the purpose of his visit to Chicago, where he was going. And he told me the tragic news that he has a daughter there who has what looks like a terminal heart condition. And I did my best to sympathize with him. I can't imagine what that's like. I mean, she's probably, I would imagine, my age or younger, given that I think my new friend was in his perhaps late 70s, perhaps early 80s. So she must be around my age bracket, and yet her father is visiting, possibly for the last time or one of the last times, to be with her as she may pass away. What a tragic thing. And so we talked about that, and I asked him how his faith was sustaining him, and of course it's making a big difference. And then I asked him if I could pray for her. And he said, of course. And he gave me her name. And I'm recording this really to ask you to pray for her. I mean, you and I will probably never meet this lady. I may never meet that chap again. Who knows? But maybe it wasn't just coincidence that I sat next to him on the plane. And maybe it's not a coincidence that I got her name. And her name is Harriet. So if you could pray for Harriet, who's in Chicago, I think that'd be a good thing. And I've been praying for her now and again through the rest of the day. And I'll be keeping her in my prayers over the next few days. I don't think I'll be forgetting her. So I don't know if I'll be able to find out exactly what happens, but I know that God knows, and he cares about Harriet, who doesn't have a faith, by the way. So if you can pray that she finds God in this, perhaps, and that perhaps her father's visit right now would make a difference, not only to her health, perhaps, but in particular to her spiritual well-being, her spiritual health. Wouldn't that be an amazing thing? So I hope to be able to get back in touch with this chap and find out more. But please just join me in praying for Harriet for the next few days. Well, that'll do for now. I'm going to have to toddle off to bed and get some rest so that I'm fresh for tomorrow, hopefully. And I will give you another report, hopefully tomorrow, and periodically through the conference. Thank you for all your prayers for me. Do pray that I hear the voice of God and I learn what is useful, not just for me, but to bring back home to the people. Take care.